Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. It's 19 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock, and what better way to start conversation after what we experienced last night as a nation than the DNA East-West Corridor Football League. Joining us this morning in studio is Senator the Honourable David Nakhid, Parliamentary Secretary from the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. Good morning, Senator, and welcome.
Good morning, Tasha. Nice to be here. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
How are you doing this morning?
Not so good. Not so good. I think the whole of the country realized that we missed an opportunity to go to the World Cup last night.
Yeah.
It's a game that we should have won.
Well, in light of that, of course, one of the things that we know is that you are now on the ground moving forward, looking at ways to, let's say, expand and redevelop football in some ways in Trinidad and Tobago. But before we get into the depth of DNA, let's talk a little bit about you, of course, if we can. You've been deeply involved in sport development for years, traveled internationally, represented internationally as well. How do you see that inspiring your new league, but also shaping the way forward?
Well, it's your experience, especially in something like this, especially in terms of youth development, that will not only give you the necessary credibility, but the know-how, the knowledge, the wisdom in certain situations to take it forward. When we look at last night, there's absolutely no reason why we should not have won that game. This is possibly the worst Jamaica team I've seen in 2 decades. I'll be brutally honest. And I think what we need to do going forward is start looking at how we can develop players across Trinidad and Tobago, that when they reach the national team, that we have players who are not only technically competent, but they're able to meet the moment. We didn't meet the moment last night in any regards. And that's particularly troubling.
Definitely food for thought, and of course critical as we look towards developing in the future and moving forward. In light of that, have you identified any gaps that you see that need to be filled, and are we going to see these being filled with DNA?
Oh, the gaps are tremendous. I mean, there have been gaps for years. We have had nothing on the ground except events over the last 10 years from the last administration. There were events aplenty where people were just basically eating our food. But events are not policy. It's not policy.
Right.
Events doesn't lend to development. Development is a process over a period of time where you are looking to achieve a certain objective. And with this league, what we are looking at over the course of 6-7 months, we're going to be going into the communities, bringing football back to the communities. And I stress on football because, as you saw last night, football in this country is a great unifier.
Yes.
And football is a sport that most people play in most communities, men and women, boys and girls. So we thought that we'd look at this with the possibility of, from next year, going towards the girls' side of things. And what we hope to do is bring sport back to the communities, get the communities revitalized in a way that we can look at their development in all aspects.
Definitely something different to what we would have experienced, and moving forward we can see that there are going to be the necessary steps and reviews in order to ensure this is something that is long-lasting. Now, I know you use the word policy, and in previous interviews with us right here at TT, you would have mentioned that this is very akin to, or is, policy moving forward. Can you just share with us how these align?
How these policies align? Well, it aligns perfectly with the vision of the Prime Minister, which is to do things differently than what was done. I mean, we can't continue to do things that we've done over the last 6 decades, because it's brought us to this pass, where we cannot come out of a Caribbean group. Basically, we played against, this is the easiest group that I've seen in years. This is a Caribbean group, and we can come out of it. We can be the top 2 in a Caribbean group. And I know we feel for the boys, and we want to commend them for their effort. Not only them, the coaching staff as well. But we have to take an honest look at where we are.
Yeah.
We are not in a good place in terms of our football, in terms of our sport, because nothing has been done. We've been fed a diet of lies by the former administration as to where we are and as to what they were doing. And if you do not go back to the communities, you do not go back to proper development in the communities, you're going to reach here where, you know, you're in a position where you don't know where you are. So what we hope to do is that to show that proper policy, proper implementation of that policy will give us results that we used to have back in the day.
Now, something interesting that you've also mentioned, Minister, of course, this is called the East-West Corridor Football League, but we also know that this is something that is going to extend throughout Trinidad and Tobago. How is this going to be done?
Well, we're going to have 6 regions.
Okay.
South, Central, Tobago as well, East, Northeast, Northwest. And we're going to have 8 teams in each region. They're going to play in their own group, and the top 2 teams from those groups will go into a final Sweet 16, along with the best third-place teams. Now, we've done it that way. We've named it the East-West Corridor in a symbolic way, meaning that the philosophy is fix the East-West Corridor, you fix the country.
Okay.
That's the spine of the country. And people forget East-West Corridor run from Komuto all the way down to Diego Martin, down into Chagaramas. And we're going to have teams competing in Diego Martin, teams competing across the country, as I said, in Tobago as well. And it's a way to unify the country, bring all the communities together in different, because we're going to have cultural aspects as well in this.
As you mentioned that, it shows that it's expanding and it's also far-reaching, because we automatically think about those who are, let's say, playing in the sport, those who are coaches. But with this in particular, we're seeing that it is going to contribute to creating new opportunities for others involved in sport. Can you expound on that?
Of course. I mean, when we say we involve the communities, we involve all the businesses in the communities. They're going to have a chance to just come out of their homes, take a look at the youth playing in their communities. You see, when you do something like this, you bring the community together. You don't have this disparate kind of entities that we now have up and down the East-West Corridor, where people don't really know each other. And when you don't know each other within your community, you have no problem becoming hustlers in your own community. That's what we have now with our young people. They have no problem taking advantage of people within the community because they don't know each other. Like this, they're going to have a chance to see the young people, like back in the days where they were closer to their churches, their community councils, their village councils, that they felt part of the community. And you know, there's an old saying, you know, if you don't have warmth towards the young people, if they can't find that warmth, that love from their community, they'll end up burning down the community. And we're looking to avoid that. We're looking to make sure that they have the proper development. And, you know, we have so many things on offer. We have an all-star team that will be picked from this team, from this league, that will travel to Spain to show themselves. We have United States coaches coming down, perhaps to give them an educational pathway, scholarships and so to universities. So it's multifaceted. And I think it's going to be something that's never been done at this level, especially at the granular level. And I think Trinidad and Tobago is going to be very, very happy with something that shows proper development.
Now, opportunities definitely abound for this, including there's a prize structure that definitely has caught the keen attention of many. Can you walk us through the structure?
Yes, well, we have first prize 125,000. The Prime Minister, this was her idea. She felt that instead of giving money in previous projects, under the previous administration, to the service providers and to the administrators who are making all the money is going towards those who are participating in their own development. So it's 125,000 for first place, 75,000 for second place, and 50,000 for third place. Those are prizes unheard of in our community minor league. And I think it shows the intention of the Honourable Prime Minister that those who participate in the development, who give the effort, the sacrifice, they are the ones who should benefit from it.
And, well, in addition to that, what are some of the key outcomes that you expect to see after the first year of DNA being in progress?
Well, we expect to see, of course, more civic engagement, more community. It's an outreach to the community to bring things back to where we should be. It's going to take time. As I said before, this is not an event. And development and developmental policy takes time. It's a process, and it has to be holistic in intention and how we deal with it. So we're going to have mentoring sessions. As I said, we have coaches coming from outside who are going to assess the players, monitor the players, evaluate the players, and evaluate the coaches as well. So when you look at things in that way, where you're looking at the whole ecosystem that surrounds the league, then you begin to understand how you go about development.
Yeah.
It cannot be just a 2 days, and music and dance. It has to be all encompassing. And I think this is what this league is going to do, I'm sure.
I mean, with everything that you've shared, of course, there are people who are already keenly interested and want to know the details. So where can we get more information? Where can they register? And is this open to everybody?
Yes, it's an open league. We like the idea. Like when we were growing up as well, playing in that East-West Corridor League that they used to call the Etihad League. We were young boys, 14, 15, playing against big men. And that's why we became the players that we became. So we're going to bring back that same kind of model. And we think the methodology to that is what we need right now. So we are acutely aware that there's going to be problems because it's such an expansive league. But we are ready to meet that challenge to really have that community development that we need.
100%. I mean, from everything that you have shared so far, we are hearing that there is a clear, decisive plan of action as to what's going to be happening, and also the way that it is going to reach the outer bands of society, and including Tobago, very important as we continue to expand sport, looking at the years to come. In light of that, do you have any messages that you would like to send to coaches, players, maybe players who are just coming up as well and are interested but don't even know where to start?
This league seeks to get the players that have slipped through the cracks, basically. There are a lot of players who don't play in the TT Pro League, or they call it the PFL now. This gives them a chance to show themselves again. I'm sure the national coaches, the Football Association will be keen to see the kind of players that come out of this league. And we're gonna bring back all those kind of games that we used to have, North versus South, East versus West. We're going to bring back the kind of rivalries in the community, not on the killing fields that we've had in the East-West Corridor, but on the football field. We're going to bring back those rivalries, and we hope that everyone, the businessman, from the cook to the candle maker, to everyone in the community to come out and support their team in that particular league, in that particular constituency, including the MPs of those constituencies. And I think when people get accustomed to seeing their own community prosper and thrive, they'll come out.
And redefining community, or bringing community back to the surface through sport, something that definitely is needed, and we're looking forward to it. I know I asked you, Senator, about what you saw a year from now with the league, but let's say 10 years from now, how do you see sports in Trinidad and Tobago? Of course, specifically football.
Well, I'm hoping that the legacy of this league will be, when people look back, that we have another Dwight York, another Russell Latapy, another Stone John came out of this league. Because they all came out of leagues like this back in the day. And it's important that we don't miss anyone. This is the kind of league that caters for all those people that want to show themselves and develop their potential. We have to give them the facility to present that, to present their potential. So we hope that that's the legacy of this league.
Excellent. Well, Senator, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure to have you on set.
Thank you very much, Natasha. Thanks, nice to be here.
Senator the Honourable David Nakhid, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs, here with us this morning on the Now Morning Show, discussing DNA for the East-West Corridor, and let's see the expansion of sports and community in Trinidad and Tobago. Stay tuned.